Hello everyone, apa khabar? In this video, we want to look at the English word also and the different ways it is said in Malay. So the first word in Malay that can mean also is pun. Pun. And it is used to mean also when we're talking about more than one thing or more than one person that have similarities. For example, Ahmad also works there. So this is when if you're talking about someone who works at a place and you want to mention Ahmad also works there. So in Malay that's Ahmad pun kerja sana. So besides this person, besides B, for example, Ahmad also works there. So B and Ahmad works at the same place, so they have a similarity. I also want chicken curry. Saya pun nak kari ayam. Saya pun nak kari ayam. So this is in the context of if you're going out with your friend, for example, and he or she orders chicken curry and you also want chicken curry. So because both of you want the same thing, you use pun in this case. Fina also doesn't want to go. So if someone doesn't want to go and Fina also doesn't want to go, so in Malay that would be Fina pun tak nak pergi. Fina pun tak nak pergi. Okay? So pun is used to mean also in the context of when we are comparing two things or more which have similarities. Okay? So another word in Malay for also is juga. Juga. And I think if you search for a translation for the word also, juga comes up more often as the Malay translation. And often you hear it pronounced as juga. Juga. So juga or juga is how we say it. And it is used mostly when we are making a list of items. For example, I have to call Gary and also Azi. So that in Malay can be saya kena telefon Gary dan juga Azi. Saya kena telefon Gary dan juga Azi. So here we are not comparing two things. We are making a list. I need to do this and this and this, or I have this and this and that. So in this case, we use juga instead of pun. She knows how to speak Malay, French, and also Tamil. So what's this in Malay? To know how to speak is tahu cakap. Dia tahu cakap bahasa Melayu, Perancis, dan juga Tamil. Dia tahu cakap bahasa Melayu, Perancis, dan juga Tamil. So again, here we are making a list of items, and because of that, we are using juga. But it's important to note that juga or juga is more common in formal Malay instead of spoken. He has to buy rice and also bread. Dia kena beli beras dan juga roti. Dia kena beli beras dan juga roti. Okay? So we can't use pun here because we are making a list. So if you say, dia kena beli beras dan pun roti, so it doesn't sound correct because we are not comparing two things which are similar. However, in spoken Malay, sometimes you hear a native speaker say this as, dia kena beli beras dan roti sekali. Dia kena beli beras dan roti sekali. So instead of using juga, we use sekali. Sekali means one time or together. So in a way, we are using sekali to mean also. And I think it's rarely acknowledged that sekali means also in Malay, but it's actually very commonly used. Okay? So if also is at the beginning of the sentence, for example, also don't forget to buy milk. In this case, we generally don't use juga or even pun. Juga jangan lupa beli susu. So although you may be understood, but it doesn't sound right. This is not the way it is said in Malay. So in casual Malay, usually we say it as lagi satu, which means one more or one more thing. Lagi satu, jangan lupa beli susu. Lagi satu, jangan lupa beli susu. So it means something like, one more thing, don't forget to buy milk. And this is if also is at the beginning of the sentence. But if you want to say, don't forget to also buy milk. So also is not at the beginning, it's somewhere in the middle. So the way we say it in Malay would be, jangan lupa beli susu sekali. Jangan lupa beli susu sekali. Or, jangan lupa juga beli susu. Jangan lupa juga beli susu. Okay, so notice the placement of juga versus sekali. Sekali is mostly at the end of the sentence. Juga is placed before the item or the action itself. So how would you say, also he has to finish his homework? So to finish is habis. Homework is kerja rumah. Lagi satu, dia kena habiskan kerja rumah dia. Lagi satu, dia kena habiskan kerja rumah dia. So when you're making a list, for example, he has to do this and this and this, and also he has to finish his homework. So this is where lagi satu comes along. But if you want to say, he also has to finish his homework. So also here is not at the beginning of the sentence. So you use juga or sekali. Dia juga kena habiskan kerja rumah dia. Dia juga kena habiskan kerja rumah dia. Or, dia kena habiskan kerja rumah dia sekali. Dia kena habiskan kerja rumah dia sekali. Okay? One more phrase that can mean also, and it's used mostly in formal Malay, would be selain itu. Selain itu. And it also means besides that or apart from that. Also, she just completed her research on mental health. So this may be a formal statement which does not sound casual. So because of that, we use selain itu. Selain itu, dia baru habiskan penyelidikannya dalam kesihatan mental. Selain itu, dia baru habiskan penyelidikannya dalam kesihatan mental. Okay, so I'll leave you with an exercise if it's this format. She also just completed her research on mental health. So write down your comments below on how is this said in Malay. So that's the word also and its different variations in Malay. See you in the next video.